Good morning and welcome to Sunday School. My name's Jenny. Now before we start, sorry, my notebook keeps falling over. Before we start today, no, it's no good, it's just not going to stand up. I've got a really lovely sparkly notebook, but it's not going to stand up today. Let me try it over here. No, it's gone over again. Let me think. I need something to hold my notebook. I know what I can use. Let me just get some of my boys' building bricks, and if I put some here, and some here, I think I've made a strong stand for my notebook. Let's try it and see. If I stand my notebook in there, perfect. That's going to hold my notebook. And if I put it down really carefully, fantastic. It's not going to fall over. Then we can start Sunday school. That makes my life much easier because it's got a really strong foundation. I can't use the notebook when it's sliding all over the desk and I can't read the notes in it, can I? For something to be useful, it needs a really strong foundation. Now, in our story this morning, it's all about something with a strong foundation and something without a strong foundation. I wonder if you can guess which Bible story it might be today.
Let's read our story, The House on the Rock. Here is a man. He is looking for a place to build a house. He climbs to the top of a big grey rock. Ah, here is a good place. The man begins to build his house. It is hard work. He puffs and pants. He puffs and pants and grunts and groans all day until the work is done. Just in time, he says. It looks like rain. The rain pours down, the lightning flashes, the thunder booms. The water washes around the house and splashes at the rock. The rock stays firm. The man was wise to choose the rock. Here is another man. He wants a house. I want it now. I want it quick. This place will do, he says. He builds his house down on the sand. This won't take long, he says, and whistles as he works. His house is done. He goes inside and shuts the door. A raindrop drips onto his nose. Oh dear. The rain pours down, the lightning flashes, the thunder booms, the water rushes through the house and splashes at his knees. The sand is washed away, his house falls flat. The silly man was wrong to build on sand. Jesus says, I am like the wise man's rock. If you trust me, I will never let you down. So that story was a parable. It was a story with a deeper meaning. So let's dig a bit deeper. I wonder if you can answer these questions. Who built their house on the rock? Was it the wise man or the foolish man? It was the wise man, wasn't it? It was a very wise thing to build his house on the rock. So where did the foolish man build his house? Was it on the sand? Or was it somewhere else? It was on sand, wasn't it? Not a good place to build a house. What do you think the storm represents? So it shows us that sometimes we have hard times in our lives, don't we? Sometimes things can be a bit stormy, can be a bit scary, but we know we can stand strong because we can have our rock to stand on. We can follow Jesus.
Let's think about an example of how to put this teaching into practice. I have here our spare penny jar that we have, that all the sort of coppers and things that we come across, we put in a jar so we can decide what to do with them. I want to see what's in here so I can share them out. Now, there are 4 people in my household, so I think I ought to make 4 piles of coins. So I start with the pennies. 1 for that person, 1 for the next person, 1 for the next person. Oh, these ones are really shiny. Oh, look. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shiny ones for me. So they've got 1 each and I've got those 5. Let's go on to the 2 penny coins. 1 for the first person, 1 for the next person, 1 for the next person, and there's some shiny ones again. I'll have that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. Great. Oh, I've got a lovely pile of shiny coins now. Everybody else has only got 2 coins. So that person's got 2, 2, 2. But look at these lovely shiny ones that I've got. This is a situation when I really want these shiny coins, but I don't think I'm following Jesus' teaching the best, am I? I'm pretty sure that I've read in the Bible and we've heard in our stories that Jesus likes us to share. And sometimes that can be hard to do. And he likes us to give things to people who need them. I don't need these beautiful shiny coins. But I think I do need to share a bit better, don't I? I'll sort these coins out after Sunday school, but when I sort them out next time, I will make sure I put the same number and the same amount in each pile. I think that is a better follow of Jesus' teaching, isn't it? And it can be hard to do. And there are lots of situations when we find we have to follow Jesus' teaching and we don't want to. It could be sharing something that really you'd rather keep for yourself, like my beautiful shiny coins. It could be going to talk to someone or play with them at school when you'd really rather go and play with your friends, but you really can see they're left out and on their own. And you know that if Jesus was there, he'd be with them, and you have to spread some of Jesus' love too. So it can be tricky. It's finding little bits in every situation. What would Jesus want me to do in this situation? And if you're not sure what Jesus would do, the best thing to do is to read through some of the stories in the Bible. Find out what Jesus did. Because he was always there. He looked after people, he cared for them, he loved them, he helped them, and he taught us so many things of how we can do the same as well. That's a great way to find out how to be more like Jesus. Let's think a bit deeper about some situations you might be in when you have to choose whether to trust Jesus or not. Let's think about the first one. When someone you know is poorly or has to go to hospital. Do you know any Bible verses that could help? Here's a couple that you might help remember. Jesus tells us to pray. If you read Matthew 6 from 5 to 15, it's all about how to pray and asking God for help. Jesus also tells us not to worry, to trust God, and that's found in Matthew 6 verses 33 to 34. If you want a list of any of these Bible verses, please email our church admin office at admin@tcmlincoln.co.uk and we'll happily send you a list of all these verses. What about if you're going through a difficult time and you're facing bullies or someone's being really unkind to you? How can you choose to put Jesus' teaching into practice then? Here's some useful verses. Jesus tells us to love our enemies, and that's found in Matthew chapter 5 verses 43 to 47. Not to go and hate them back, but actually to show them love. That's a really tough situation to put his teaching into practice. But he also says that remember, God cares about us. If you read Matthew 6 verses 25 to 32, it's showing us just how much God cares for us in every situation. That's a really good one to remember. What about if you hear of somebody who really needs something? Maybe they don't have enough money or they can't afford to buy new clothes. How could you put Jesus' teaching into practice then? Here's some more verses. Again, we're in the book of Matthew still. We're told to give to those in need. That's Matthew chapter 6 verses 1 to 4. If people need something and we can spare it, we need to give it to them. And also Jesus says, use your money for what's important. Matthew chapter 6 verses 19 to 24. Think about what you could be spending your money on. And it might be a bit of pocket money here and there, or you might be able to ask a grown-up, perhaps if you could help a little bit more, or give to a charity. We're not saying you have to give every penny you have away, okay? It's thinking about what the most important thing to use that money is for. Now, I know I forget these Bibles, so I decided to write a couple of them down. I've been looking for a big rock, because I thought since we're all about strong foundations and relying on Jesus, it would be great to write my Bible verse on a rock. However, I cannot find a rock big enough in my garden to write up a whole Bible verse on. So instead, I've drawn a rock, sort of. That's what this grey wiggly line, this is my rock here. So I've written at the top, Jesus is my rock. And I've chosen to really focus on, remember this week, the don't worry, trust God, which is Matthew 6, 33 and 34. I'm going to read it out of my Bible so you can hear the whole verse, which I'm going to add on later on. Matthew 6, 33 to 34 says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be provided for you. Therefore don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. That reminds me we don't need to worry, we can trust God. He's got us in everything. So even though I've only got tiny pebbles, I couldn't fit that on a pebble. But around the edge of my rock, I'm going to add the rest, I'm going to write out the whole verse, I think, so I can put this and remind me that if I'm going through a difficult time, I can trust God and I don't need to worry because he's got it all. I really hope this week that if you find a difficult situation, you can think, of what Jesus would do and try and put his teaching into practice, because that's really what he wants us to do. And that's how we stand firm. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.